What's the deal, YouTube? It's your boy Next Gen 720, and we're back with the weekly Xbox Beast Fire. Between 8:30. You know, I'm running on Black Man's time, but hopefully, like I said, next Monday will be. It'll show would be Monday.
Time.
For Xbox Beast Fire. Because we didn't do BGST Sunday because of Father's Day. And man, I had to celebrate about 19 kids, and I gave birth to about 19 of you here style. So you know what I mean. So we didn't do BGST Sunday, so it got pushed back to Monday. So but normally, it's Xbox Beast Fire will be Mondays at about 8:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30. Quote me on that. But anyway, I got a few things I want to talk about. Not a few things we can talk about. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You know what I mean? While the room was filling up, we got a few new people with me today. We're gonna rock out. We're gonna make it happen. Xbox Beast. We had my man Pete Reaper in here, but he's feeling a little under the weather. He'll be back next week. We're gonna have some fun today. But anyway, the title of the show: Sony's Jim Ryan takes a huge dump on indies after they basically carried the PS4 for the first 3 years of their life cycle. Well, of the of the PlayStation 4 life cycle, first 3 years or so, 2.5, 3 years, they've carried Sony. You know what I mean? And I think it's nothing. That's fine. I think it's ironic. Like I said, they would take the shit on indies like this. You know what I mean? I guess. Not I guess. I guess it started last E3. Before then, you had first they were all on board, which you call No Man's Sky, right? That was it. More or less, it was an indie. They said it was treating it with like a AAA. That kind of bomb. They backed away from that, and then they had their E3 presentation last year, which I think it was dope. They didn't show not one indie. They showed all of the big blockbuster games. I'm all for that. You know what I mean? But anyway, he left a comment. Like I said, Jim Ryan has been all over the news. Now, I don't know if this guy's a covert agent. He's been saying a lot of anti-consumerism things the last week or so since E3. I don't know if the Xbox One X got him losing his mind, but he about to be. He sounds like Trump out there on Twitter, in the middle of 5 o'clock in the morning, saying tweets. Now, first thing he said was about parity. You know what I mean? And that you have what he said. You have third-party deals or something like that. But he doesn't want to talk about that. And then normally developers would code to the lowest common denominator. I'm basically saying, that the Pro more or less is going to hold back the Xbox One X because the question was asked about the Pro. I was doing an interview over at Eurogamer because people try to damage control this. They were doing an interview over there at Eurogamer, and they asked them, "Is Sony basically worried about the huge advantage that the Xbox One X has over the Pro in terms of power or whatever the case may be?" And he basically was like, no, because developers are going to code to the lowest common denominator, and then you have marketing deals. Now listen, he didn't go what was in the marketing deals, but same kind of fishy. You know what I mean? And if they're going to do it, my thing is, if they're going to do it like that, if that's the case, maybe there should have been a resolution gate this generation. Microsoft then mandated because you had what started the generation. You had Call of Duty Ghosts, if I'm not mistaken, with 720p on the Xbox One and 1080p on the PlayStation 4. And then you had Sony out there saying that 1080p makes you a better gaming and all that stuff. So my man Xbot and everybody in the live stream. Xbot, if you want to join, let me know. I seen the link, bot. If you want to join, if you want to hop in. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody in the chat. So he said that was last week. Now this week, hold on. Hey Garrett, did I see the article?
Yeah, you sent it to me.
All right,
This week,
take from the top. What we got there?
so this week, my man Jim Ryan said there was a time and a place in the early stages of the life of the PS4 to make statements. He said it was more about making a statement that we were serious about the indies and that we are doing this and that with these indies, No Man's Sky and so on and so forth, which broke out from that and carved its own niche, And he also says, right now we have tons of indies content on the platform, and the fact that we elected, along with many other things such as Gran Turismo, PlayLink, not to give it its own spot on the stage this week, in no way means it is not important or is not there or we don't worry about it. It was just good to talk about in 2013, 2014. It is less relevant now. We have VR to talk about now. For example, damn, that man disrespectful. That man, for all you indie lovers, this man does not care about indies. He basically just told you that he did it in a nice way. He that was the most kindest way to ever say fuck you.
Yeah.
He used some pimp lines. What the hell?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. You know what's crazy? Oh, my man, hold on. Shout out to my man Sam Walton in the chat. He said that man needs to stop talking. He's Sony's version of Don Matrick. Well, listen, he's coming off very arrogant. And I want to get your all you guys' opinion on this. Unless I'm mistaken, unless I missed something, indies again have which basically what carried Sony first 3 years or so, and it's not no damage control. I've always said for the first 3 years, all Sony had was remastered. The Last of Us remastered, Bloodborne, and indies. They was pushing games like Octodad, Resogun, and all types of stuff. I mean, you guys know the list. You know what I mean? And they were treating those quote unquote like there was exclusive, which is cool. I'm not knocking. If you like it, I love it. You know what I mean? Look at what's that, soccer cars and games like that. You know, there was I believe soccer
Rocket
cars.
League.
I call it soccer cars. Soccer cars got what I think it got best racer or best sports title, some type of some wild shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
best racer or something. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
At the video game awards.
Yeah, so you know what I mean. So it is what it is. So for him to say that now, and I think it's dope that Sony has, the God of War and Spider-Man and what else. No, I think it's dope, and I can't wait to play those games. But I just think it's crazy that he would take a huge dump on them. You know what I mean? Who basically carried the platform. So maybe they were getting praised. Oh, Sony's is indie friendly and this, that, and the other. And they were playing that up, and now to, like I said, take a huge dump. I think it's crazy. What do you guys think?
It is disgraceful, like you said, for like the last 3 years, they held Sony down, especially around the holidays when they had no offerings at all. And I remember all the PlayStation guys going on and on. Oh, we have all these games, and they would go through all the list of these fucking indies and whatnot. And for him to go around and say that right now it's truly, truly disrespectful. That company, they really, truly don't care about the gamer. They only care about the bottom line. Because there's a lot of gamers that did get the PS4 because of the indies or a certain indie that was on that platform. So that's a slap in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. But Sony's known for burning bridges, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Like, I was taught never bite the hand that feeds you. Never turn your back on your people.
Mm-hmm.
These are your people. They stood by you. In fact, they disrespected the Xbox. Remember how they used to talk about how Xbox was anti-indies and everything? Mm-hmm. And Xbox caught a lot of shade from that.
Even though we got a lot of great indies. So
exactly.
You know what? I would even say we have the better indies. You just see some of those indies I was really interested in. Some of them looked really good, and the quality of our indies were much better.
I've always thought that PlayStation, I don't know if they sleep at the wheel when it comes to getting these games cleared, but some of these indie games are really far out there.
Aren't they showing like an iOS game right now?
Yeah, like what? I knew it was a problem when they put Jet Ride Joyce, whatever the fuck that game was from the cell phone. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? But you know what I mean? I feel like this dude, what's his name? Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan. I think what a lot of these gaming companies are starting to put. I think it's Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo. I think everybody has that one dude that comes out and voices his personal opinion, and people are going to pick it apart beyond recognition. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's just personally how he feels. He might feel like that. You know what I mean? But if you feel that way, there's just some shit you don't say. Stay in your lane. Because that can affect that can affect the whole company as a whole, the outlook of it. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you something all day. When you work for these companies, bro, it don't matter if that's how you personally feel. I can't get on Twitter and say F whatever. Anything like I can't disrespect another company like that because my company will see that and I'm fired. You know what I'm saying?
You know why? Because
they don't keep playing those type of games.
Because look, imagine if somebody said that on Microsoft side. Microsoft got their hands in everybody's pot. When it comes to software, so that's why they can't go out there and fuck you. And this game is, they can't
exactly.
No, I'm here.
But I did enjoy Microsoft's retort where they were saying, like, even though indie games are small, they're still games nonetheless, and they deserve to be on the stage or something like that. I'm paraphrasing here.
Yeah. Microsoft did jump on that?
Yep.
Okay.
This is something about ID at Xbox. I can't quite remember it, though.
Okay, good.
My question is, or whatever statement is, how do these indie developers feel? You know what I mean? It's like, listen. I understand that sometimes interviews or sometime or whatever can be taken out of context, or when people they went at Phil for saying, the single player games or whatever the case. Remember when he said the thing? He was basically saying, they're very risky. You don't make much money, you know. But you have games like whatever, whether it be what's the kind of thing? What's the shooter everyone plays from Epic? What's the
Overwatch.
Overwatch or whatever. That game or Destiny or Titan, whatever. Those games are going to live on because of DLC and map packs, stuff like that. And that was kind of taken on the context what he said. But I'm trying to understand, like, you know what I mean? Like, was this in comments taken out of content? Because these are his words. I said these ain't mine, these are Lord's words.
Well, he straight up shitted on indie games. I mean, there's no taking out of context with this one.
Okay.
He straight up said they're a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just threw these guys under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
You could read.
And you could read indie developers who defended Sony for the longest time too. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
Hey. You can read that comment front way. You could read it forward. You could read it backwards. It's all the same thing. It's just like Big Worm counting smoky money, bruh. This man is disrespecting the indies, man. Yo, he foul, man. Like how and my thing is this: people will still sweep this under the rug and be okay with it. Like, Sony guys that, oh no, he didn't really mean it. I don't understand how Sony guys just kind of like brush everything off like it's nothing. Like, yo, he just dissed a lot of y'all favorite games. They was just pushing a little what is it, a twin stick shooter? What is it? Next, well, that might not be an indie, but it looked like
they pushed the Rezo gun for the longest time.
No, and listen, what do you call those type of games? I like games like that though. What do you call them? Real shooters or something?
If you look at that, if you look at the sizzle reel in Microsoft E3 press conference, it is a lot of dope and very interesting indie games in that sizzle reel. Mm-hmm. They might have been given the publicity as the big games, but if you go back and look at that sizzle reel, it is a lot of great indie games in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
And a lot of great variety.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know, man. A lot of stuff can be taken as anti. You know what? Not say anti-consumerism, but I just think it's Sony going back to the old Sony, the being very cocky. You know what I mean? Because they were very, and I think it's dope though. And sometimes, and the same thing happened with Microsoft. They came out this generation were very, very cocky. And listen, I'm an Xbox dude. I've been here, since day one. They honored me, honestly, during Black History Month, the first person of color to lose his life in the console war. That was me. Now, with that being said, though, right? All jokes aside, though, you know what I mean? And the same thing will happen with Microsoft. And it seemed like they just lost touch. I'll give you an example. When at the start of the 7th generation, Microsoft was very, very hungry. They were going to developers, showing them how easy it was to make games on the Xbox 360. I remember when they showed Assassin's Creed before, that was supposed to be a quote unquote a PlayStation 3 exclusive, you know what I mean? And it was crazy how Sony had a lot of their deals and stuff like that. They didn't even have no contract. They were such a huge in the market. The developers would just release their game on their platform. That's what I tell people all the time. It wasn't that the PlayStation 2 was so great. Is that the multiplats that we have today were exclusives back in the 6th generation? You know what I mean? Or if they did come to a rival platform, they came a year and a half later. You know what I mean? After the fact. You know what I mean? So, that's why Sony, to get players are having so many, great games, whether it's been the Devil May Cry's or the Metal Gears or even Grand Theft Auto. All those games back then were exclusive to the PlayStation 2. And if I give you an example, when San Andreas came out for the PlayStation 2, the original Xbox was just getting Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
I remember that. Yep.
So a lot. I guess a lot of people don't know or their age. You know what I mean? To talk about the PlayStation 2 dominance, and also too. Back then, the PlayStation 2 was the cheapest DVD player. It was $300. You know what I mean? That's what got me into watching DVDs. Was the PlayStation 2?
Microsoft being a new kid on the block back then, they really had to fight for those third-party games.
That's what I'm talking about.
They had to fight for them back then. And it didn't come easy because they was the new kid on the block and didn't nobody really have faith in them really selling that many consoles.
Yeah, especially after the original Xbox. Was it like 5 million sold? They got their
No, they sold about 25, almost 26 million. They sold more than the
GameCube.
Yeah, they beat the GameCube.
You also got to remember. They didn't want Microsoft in this business. People fucking hate Microsoft. I guess whatever happened back in the day with Apple and all that, they
with Windows and that shit carried over to the game, man.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's a miracle that actually carried over into this. Like,
but anyway, to credence of what I'm saying is that. And then at the start of this generation, it was a foregone conclusion. Everyone thought that Microsoft was going to run away with this generation. And for them, and again, it's not that it was the Kinect or people. Because I think the Kinect at the end of the day is a great piece of technology. I use it all. I was definitely using it for live streaming. I think it's a great piece of technology. But what happened is that they kind of oversaturated the market with quote unquote these motion control gaming, these gimmick games, and then you put out a console. Like this, you sacrifice the specs of your console, right, to include a peripheral that no one really wanted because they wasn't really on board with the quote unquote motion control gaming. And then you put the console out and didn't even have any games that even supported the Kinect. You know, you had a demo for Just Dance or Kinect Sports. There was no games that really supported the quote unquote the Kinect for the Xbox One. You know, you had games that implemented it like Rise or whatever, but you didn't have the big games that come out. You know what I mean? There was no Kinect Sports.
Yeah, they're probably didn't give a shit about it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But and again, I say this, so you know, they got and again, you see what just happened with Nintendo with the Wii U and how quote unquote, and people still don't understand whatever that the Wii U. They got to realize that the Wii U was not the PS3 and the 360's competition. The Wii U was the
Xbox and PS4.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And for them to include a tablet that no one wanted, you know what I mean? To include a peripheral that no one that wanted.
People thought that was an add-on for the fucking Wii. I mean,
yeah, but see, even better than that, though, Needles, you can take it from here, is that people seem like they forget. People always like to, I guess, and I'm not going to go on my Nintendo rant here, but people like to give Nintendo a pass saying how innovative Nintendo is. They put the innovation, quote unquote, into a gimmick that may or may not take off, you know, instead of putting the innovation to the games. You know what I mean? And I give you an example, you know, what I'm saying. Oh, like I said, the tablet. They sacrificed the specs of the power of the system to include a tablet, you know, that no one really asked for. But even better, they put on a next generation console that couldn't run any next generation engines. Mm-hmm. So, you know, Unreal Engine 4, this, that, and the other, you know what I mean? They basically put out when Sony and Microsoft were doing the equivalent to DirectX 11, they were doing like, and I understand that Nintendo doesn't use DirectX, but they were doing the equivalent of DirectX 10. I remember it was when Epic showed off the Unreal Engine 4, right? And they had the next Xbox, the next PlayStation, or what, they didn't even have their names yet. And they were, I remember all the Nintendo guys, hey, what about the Wii U? And he was like, well, Unreal Engine 3 is for the Wii U, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So again, that became, like, so that's a problem. When developers, I'm gonna say this again, even the same thing with the Switch. When developers have to go out of their way and to code your game, you know what I mean, or cut stuff back, it's going to be a problem. But moving, like I said, as far as Microsoft got really cocky, and people like to say, you know what, it was the DRM and just that wasn't really the issue, you know what I mean? Because we've always dealt with DRM. DRM's been around since last generation, you know what I mean? With Sony, actually Sony started with the $10 online pass and all that stuff with their games. Is that it's not, I'll give you an example. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? My wife can say, hey Zaire, take out the trash. Take out the trash, motherfucker, it stink. And you know, the baby got asthma. You the shit makes stink, but with the way you say it, I ain't taking out no. We all gonna die in here from smog, you know what I mean? We all gonna die from carbon monoxide. That's something, I mean, real. It's not what you say and how you say it. Yeah. Microsoft messaging at the start of the generation was, you know, it wasn't, yeah, you know, and you know what? Even like I said, people got offended. I think the damage was done. Because I really don't think what Donnie D said was so bad. We got a console for you, was, you know, as far as the Xbox, you know, 360, if you don't want to play online. And the people that were complaining were online complaining. You know what I mean? Like, who buys a next generation console and it's not online? I give you an example, right? People had, well, you know, we don't, what if, you know, always online games. Now, we done bought several games this generation that are always online, right? Always online. That's why I said I was a little skeptical about the cloud, because if Microsoft wants it to be a success, if they're still trying to push it that way, they're going to have to quarterback that, which means that all of their exclusives moving forward should use some format of the cloud. You know what I mean? They're going to have to quarterback that and show, you know, how it takes their games to another level. But now, yeah, it's not so, I don't know what their message is going to be with the cloud. You know, which, you know, I don't know if it's going to be one and done with Crackdown or if they got something else, you know what I mean? They just really going to take advantage of it. You know, because they were saying you know, that each console was supposed to be online, right? So they developers could have depended on a certain more power, because, you know, with the online, the cloud does make the console more powerful.
Didn't
you know
they
what I mean?
Xbox would have like the power of 4 Xboxes in the cloud.
No, it's more than that. It was like 32 Xbox 360.
It was 32.
Yeah, but
and they just completely come off of that narrative. Like we've barely heard anything about the cloud.
We absolutely
even at E3, they didn't show anything on Crackle in the Clouds. Like I've been dying from day one.
Yeah, they only show single player.
Can we talk about how they didn't show the multiplayer at E3? Like, do you guys understand that?
Yeah,
they're probably going to say, but they probably. I know they're going to say Gamescom.
Gonna be for Gamescom.
Wow. Yeah. You know, even with that, I heard it's hit and miss. Some people liked it, some people loved it. As far as Crackdown, but
low key, these consoles are always online. Low key,
yeah.
You know, you can't really function with them without them being online. So I mean, so what? Everybody dog MS4 in the beginning of the generation, it turned out that way anyway. If you look at it.
One of the biggest games around is Overwatch. That's always online, and they even won Game of the Year.
And you remember in the beginning of like you guys were saying, in the beginning, everyone was like, "Oh, online! Oh my God, Microsoft's gonna spy us! Oh, we gotta tag our games in."
That Connect camera was really did it. Because the military got it.
Oh my God! Yeah,
the military people in the military started complaining, and dude got on the news, and that was
see me naked.
That's what
dude in a submarine.
Yeah, that's what killed it. That's what forced MS to start making them changes. Because the dude from the military, he got on TV, and then it just went down from there.
Just imagine what it could have been, because like now it's normal to have a game that's always a Division. There's so many games that are always online.
Exactly. You got trash games that are always online.
You know, they have their ways.
And the model that they had for us, where we were able to share our games and all, it would have been a beautiful thing.
We would have been able to trade digital titles and all that stuff, man. Change licenses and stuff like that. Man, I wish they would have kept it the way it was. You know,
and Post Up, I say that all the time.
I wish they would have kept it the way it was. I love the vision that they had. It would have totally separated Xbox One from any other console on the market.
Yes,
you would have had a definitive argument saying this console is different from Sony and what Nintendo is doing.
Yeah, but you guys ever play offline anyways? Like, if I'm going to get my Xbox, it has to be online. I got to be in that party chat.
You know what happens? Again, because, like I said, and the people that were complaining or they had this whole smear campaign, I give you an example, right? You know how I got the saying, Microsoft, be the behemoth that you are, right?
Yeah.
And I give you, maybe people were bugging out about Apple removing the iPhone jack, right? Or the headphone jack, right?
I still bought that shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? People still bought up and drove and just removed it. And like some of you guys may not know, or maybe you didn't see, just go back to E3, right? 2013. And look at the things that they were doing with the Xbox. I gave you an example, right? For those who didn't see it or whatever. When the guy and the girl were playing Killer Instinct on stage, right? And what she did, she paused Killer Instinct, went up and set up a match in Battlefield, PvP or whatever, right?
Whatever the fuck happened to that?
Yeah, I'm just saying, all this came with the cloud. We didn't get
this.
So this is what happened. So like I said, she was playing Killer Instinct, paused Killer Instinct, set up a match in Battlefield, and then send it out. Maybe that match was going to happen in an hour from now when her clan got home from work or whatever. So everybody got home from work, checked the message, they logged in or whatever. So she got a notification on the screen when her friends joined the Battlefield match. So she was able to go from Killer Instinct to Battlefield, no lag, no load time, no nothing.
Seamlessly.
And that to me, and that was like, oh, that's next generation. And I was excited for those, those type of features they would bring. And people panic. What about you? They never said that you couldn't trade your used games or the console didn't take used games. Is that when you did go to GameStop, which, instead of GameStop screwing us, giving us $7 for Assassin's Creed and turn around and selling it for $45, is that when you traded it back into GameStop, that the GameStop was forced to give the developer, a portion of the money. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. And that would have helped the developers too. Make money off used games.
Help our industry.
It would have helped the industry too. You had a lot of people crying about people in rural areas who don't have access to internet. You don't care about people in rural areas who don't have no access to no internet.
Yeah.
Come on now. People was bringing up all type of excuses, bro.
I was amazed. All they wanted was a ping, though. You could just use your cell phone.
Listen, but even with the 24-hour check-in, and they complained about that. What it was is that because we didn't, once you put the disc in, you were basically done with it. It's saved to your cloud, whatever the case. We didn't have to put the disc back in, right? So again, right? So, and that was just basically making sure that you still had the game or license to the game, because you can trade the game in,
and then without them knowing,
and still
somebody get the game free. Yep,
that's what that was about, to combat theft. But again, you know what I mean? I just look at all the things that we would have got, and Sony was going to do the same thing too. And when people took that and I just wish Microsoft would have stuck to their guns, because it was like, damn it, it was like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. You know what I mean?
I couldn't believe all the outrage, man. It's like everybody in the world all of a sudden thought they was Pablo Escobar, and the Connect was watching them. Like,
you know what I mean? I don't know what that was about.
Let me say something. If that's the case, the TV is the biggest camera
pretty much
in your house, because if you reverse engineer it, the TV do the opposite of what a camera does.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, exactly. And no, a cell phone's even worse. It has a test on you at all times.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So people was just crying for nothing, man. Huh?
Yeah. I like I said, people. I guess people got. Hey, shut up! What's going on, Fonzarelli? People just got on this whole Xbox, smear campaign. And again, it would even say. And one thing I said, I wish Microsoft would have done, and stuff besides, like I said, stuff to the gun. I understand the Kinect was, was a $1 billion investment for them, and they wanted to get the Kinects in the home. But the problem was with the Xbox, and this was somebody kind of lost focus of what they were doing, because. And they suddenly just lost. Like, I don't understand. How you gonna have a console, whether it was bundled with the camera? Because Sony took their camera out the box. Let's be clear that. That's what they showed was like 30 minutes later, whatever the case. They took it out last minute, which was cool. Even Kojima said he's surprised the console was so low. But check it out. So what they should have done, because you have the Xbox One. I'm sorry, the Xbox was $500. Your biggest competitor was $400, and it was a no, because you're $100 more than your biggest competitor, and your console was less powerful. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, last generation, people didn't really make a fuss about resolution. You know what I mean? And just business. What was good for last generation was not going to be good for this generation. Just like what was good for this generation, it may not be good for the next generation. You always cover the bases. They didn't expect the backlash from the resolution stuff to blow on, because they was, like I said, they were counting on having every console online all the time. You know what I mean?
Yep. I mean, it wasn't a big deal with the PS3, because that ran way lower than the 360.
Well, again, again, that's what I'm talking about, because about 90% of the PS3 library was sub HD, was 540p upscale.
Some games were unplayable, like Skyrim.
If the Xbox would have been always online like it's supposed to have been in the beginning, then cloud computing would have played a bigger role in this generation than what it has been. Yeah. And I believe it would have had an impact, because software wise, Microsoft are some fucking wizards, man.
Yeah, because what they were gonna do is they were gonna offload a lot of the local computational stuff up to the cloud. Right. Mm-hmm. And then that would have given them a lot more space on the CPU to do a lot more.
Yeah, that was the idea.
Yeah,
yeah, but like I said, it sucks. Like I said, I wish they would have stuck to their guns and just to say, damn if you did. They just, what? One thing Microsoft does that I don't like is that when they have a big public backlash, right now they're so damn scared. Like right now, Microsoft reminds me of a battered woman that they scared of their own shadow. Hear me out. It's crazy. Listen, all fanboy stuff set aside. Like I've been saying this from the beginning for a minute. You know what I mean? Is that be the behemoth that you are, right? But what, like I said, I know they just would have went through what their plans and their vision for the console. And just say, hey, this is what we was going to bring to you guys. And even with the TV stuff, I thought that was dope. The Rise Son of Rome TV show, they panicked. Oh, they don't want TV. No, this is what happened. This is real stuff right here. At the unveiling, I'll give you an example. When Sony had the unveiling, they showed about 4 games or whatever. You got to realize we just spent about 8 or so years in the 7th generation. We were dying to see new graphics. And Sony came out there and showed Infamous, a couple other games, just a little bit. We didn't see the console, but we saw the graphics. And we were like, oh, shit, that's next generation. Then Microsoft had their unveiling. See, this is what I'm talking about. So you had the hardcore gamer took off work, and if you had a job, whatever, to watch the unveiling. We wanted to see the new Xbox, right? and they spent the majority of the show talking about the features of the console, which I think was dope. I get it, but people wanted to see games.
Yeah, and the one game they showed was what was
Quantum Break, Forza 6, and that's about it.
No, they showed Call of Duty though, and they talked about fucking dog.
You know what I mean? But
that TV shit kind of got them.
But
yeah,
it did.
Sony did the same. The following year, Sony got on the stage and did the TV.
Yeah, but they didn't spend that much time on it though. They spent the whole whole show on that shit.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing though. Listen, and I get it. I'm with you 100%. It's like they misread the audience. Mm-hmm. That show, they just split the show in half. Or they didn't even have to do that long. People just wanted to see the game. Now the E3 came, they showed nothing but games. It's all that they showed.
Don't remember that. They get that mixed up now.
Microsoft. They say, well, Microsoft lost because Sony console was cheaper. Like, come on, they showed nothing but games, and Microsoft took it as, the fans and consumers, they don't want the TV stuff. No, I think the Rise on the Rome and it was having special programs for the Xbox One X or whatever. I mean, the Xbox. I thought that was dope. Original content for the Xbox console, like whether TV shows or talk. I thought all that was dope. No one just sits on the Xbox or just to play games. We all do Netflix, streaming, do everything.
Yeah, your console. The console's a hub now, bro.
It's been like that since the 360 generation. Yeah, with Netflix. You know what I mean? So like that's one thing I don't like about Microsoft. Like I said, they panic. I'm sorry, they panic, and they just so they don't want the and they throw the baby. He say, don't throw the baby out with the water. They throw every damn thing out. You know what I mean? And just panic. So they don't want that. That's one thing I don't like about Microsoft. You know what I mean? Even with, like I said, with the what do you call it? Everything on PC, right? Now listen, I'm gonna be real with this, right? It's never really and I've said this. It's not me damage controlling. If you look at the 6th generation, right, with the original Xbox, all of their greatest hits or biggest titles were on PC. Whether it's Halo, whether it was Fable, whether it was Knights of the Old Republic, Jade Empire, you can get all those games on PC. You know what I mean? But the average console guy didn't care. That didn't really become an issue until this generation. You know what I mean? Listen, it's not me. Listen, if you look at if you're around for the 6th generation and you look at some of Microsoft's biggest hits or whatever they were of the 6th generation, they're all on PC. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't the issue. They're still considered a Xbox exclusive. You know what I mean? Which again, and when I say the same level of scrutiny is not applied to Microsoft, I'm sorry, to Sony and Nintendo. I give you an example. You can play I can play all of Sony exclusive, or at one time on my Samsung TV with PS Now, right? Oh, that's still a Sony exclusive. Or I can play God of War on my PSP and my Vita. That's still. Or I can play what's the last Smash Bros. That came out on the Wii U. They had that on the 3DS. The 3DS the same damn game, but it's still a Wii U exclusive. But the same level is not applied to Microsoft for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Maybe it's because they're that huge or that big. I think, if you're a console gamer, you're gonna play what you play. But I am from the mindset, or you had to leave maybe some things to your platform to make them exclusive. And I think that Microsoft, they thought by them doing it in good faith, that I don't know, maybe it would bring more money in. Like, I'll give you an example. I love Quantum Break. You know what I mean? They didn't go out and buy their game, support their game. Forza. They didn't go out and buy and support that game. You know what I mean? Forza Horizon.
Right. Here's the war.
Recore. They didn't go out there and support that game. You know what I mean? It's like the gift, and sometimes, like I said, maybe they maybe gonna reevaluate that, maybe going forward. But because then you're gonna have people complaining, but they didn't go out. Like you say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Last time I'm gonna shut up. Titanfall, right? When EA came out and announced that Titanfall was going to be a lifetime exclusive on the Xbox One or Xbox platforms, right? You had everybody got it. I'm going to go out and get it on PC. That game's like 100,000 copies on PC. All you know what I mean? Hey, I just get it on PC. No one went out and bought it. You know,
man, they had Titanfall 1 on Fire Stick, bro.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? No one went out and bought it. I just think sometimes I understand it's a business. And people got to get money in there, but I don't know, man. I'm not lying. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. This generation. What do you guys think? Do you think they should have some things exclusive to them, or
I think so. But I mean, at the same time, if you're gonna do Play Anywhere, at least make it timed for your own company. You know what I mean? Make it like a year out, 6 months out, something. I mean, fuck. If I was a hardcore PC gamer, bro, I wouldn't even look twice at getting an Xbox. I wouldn't even fucking care. I wouldn't even care if it died. It wouldn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't care, bro. I'll just play everything on my PC because you don't need it. You don't need it at all.
And plus, if you're a hardcore PC gamer, you don't want to use that Windows Store either. Like they have to.
No,
that's the
it's
problem.
still
Windows
bad.
Store. And I got to speak on what you're saying because you guys been giving me shit lately. Oh, I haven't seen you on Xbox because I have been on PC. I've just been playing it on PC because it's a play anywhere, and I got a powerful rig. So it's an Xbox, it's a Microsoft game. What the hell? I've been playing it on PC, and so I agree with you. That kind of hurts.
Right, let me ask you a question, D. Now listen, you do what you call it Enigma. You know what I mean? Not everybody has just rigs or whatever the case may be. I understand there are more PCs in the world than anything. I get it. But it's considered a quote unquote gaming rig or whatever. You don't need a powerful rig to run Dota or League of Legends or something.
No, of course not. No,
you can get a regular $500 PC. But I mean, so here's the thing. Like as far as like you say, software sales or whatever the case may be. And I know you big there. I'm not saying Steam or whatever, but you look at it. He say men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. You look at the numbers from Ubisoft. They said 97% of their games are pirated on PC. Fact, brother. Now this ain't got nothing to do with. They don't let the Uplay. They can get it from Steam, but PC guys, they do what they do. They act like they don't, but no, I don't know. You do what they do. What they do. You know what I mean? So I really don't know. What was the long if Microsoft are trying to blur the lines. And this is one thing I don't. If they're trying to blur the line between PC and console, there's also talk of bringing mouse and keyboard support to the Xbox. I don't want it there. I don't. If I wanted to play against mouse and keyboard things, like I said, I would play on the computer. I'm not knocking those that want to or do, but
I think when they add features like that, I think they're going after the guy that kind of wants to go PC a little bit but can't afford it, and then he sees this option there for $500. He gets all these.
Yeah, I think they're trying to. I think they're trying to pacify PC gamers.
Exactly, they're trying to deter you away. PC gaming is also kind of intimidating too. So just a powerful console will do people good.
Oh yeah. And let's be clear.
Look, set it and forget it, right?
Yeah, you listen. Just be clear. There's the Xbox One X. Well, believe it or not, even the standard Xbox, believe it or not, outperforms a lot of people's rigs. It's fact. And the Xbox One X will be more powerful than a lot of people's gaming, quote unquote, gaming rigs.
Definitely.
And like I said, with optimization, you know what I mean? Like I said, with me personally, I will always I like the simplicity of consoles. And to add on to, like I said, to what you guys were talking about Sunday on BGST, and you had my man Xbot and K-Maker, and they were saying, we started getting all these things, it might as well make it like PC gaming. I didn't really understand that logic because to me, like I said, what separates PC gaming from console gaming is, like I said, turn your ass, plug and play, but it's a closed environment. Everyone has a controller. Now, what you do in the settings of your game, that's up to you. You understand what I'm saying? Like some games, you got to go in and cut the HDR on and off. You know what I mean?
And you gotta calibrate it too.
Sometimes. Yeah, I'm saying if that's what you into. So you know what I mean. So I didn't really understand what they were saying with it. So next they're going to be asking for. I didn't get that, you know what I mean? And all due respect to my man Xbox, you know what I mean? If you're into that type of stuff, then fine. If the console can do it, fine. You know what I mean? If you're not into it, cool. You know what I mean? Like I told you, I like graphics, you know what I mean? But I'm not hey, so I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. If the console can do it, because like I said, I understand if they can do it on PC or whatever, or uncapped or whatever, why they can't do it on console if it's the same game? They're both x86, so
Another thing I just want to add to that is that these games are UWP games.
Yeah,
it's so easy for them to do it. It's like it's nothing. It's already there.
Yeah. So what? I'm saying, because I was laughing so damn hard. What was their point on that whole?
I don't know. It's like
it was a 60 frames thing, wasn't it?
I don't understand.
No, they were afraid of Pandora's box, where you would have too many options, and that's not good for gamers for some reason. It didn't really make too much sense.
Like he was saying, like, oh, you're gonna get let's turn on the shadows to get higher.
Yeah, they're afraid of us console gamers getting those options like you PC guys, but it's like that's your choice.
That would never happen because that's the whole, like Z was saying, that is the whole purpose of the console. You sit on your ass, plug and play. But to have one little toggle to say 1080p, 1440p,
it means so much 4K. More on consoles, man.
That's
the PS4 Pro does something like that with like Tomb Raider, right? Like they can implement this.
Yes, it's very simple. It's already coded in there because
absolutely
the UWP app it sees the type of hardware that you have, and that it scales the game accordingly. So they'll be able to see, okay, this is an Xbox One X. Okay, it's running this. It has the DX12 command processor chip. We're gonna offload this, da. Okay, it can run 60 frames per second, or let's say it can run 50 frames per second with FreeSync 2, whatever, and give you that option.
Hey Z, we got Fonz trying to get in here.
I don't understand who wouldn't want the option for 60 frames per second.
I totally agree with D on this. When I was listening to the show, I agree with him wholeheartedly, because if you look at when the PS4 Pro first launched, gamers was asking for those same options, and they are still asking for those same options that he was talking about today. Twitter, NeoGaf, all these gamers. If you look at what Tomb Raider did, everybody was excited with what Tomb Raiders did with the options that they put in the game in regards to the resolutions and the frame rate that allowed you to play that. It's nothing wrong with bringing those same options over to every game. Gamers love options.
As time goes on and these consoles get more advanced, it's just going to head more into the PC direction more than ever.
Exactly.
So, you know what I mean? Like,
the reason they're not doing it now is because all of the developer, I get their power narrative or whatever, it went out the window when PlayStation started shifting narrative, because that's what they've been jumping on. So as soon as the narrative started to shift, they just shifted with the narrative, because a lot of the larger publishers, they're not going to run away from whatever the public is screaming, whether it's stupid or whether it makes sense.
Yeah, so I guess everybody's trying
whatever the public is screaming.
Exactly. And that's why I agree with D. Yesterday it said if enough gamers voice their opinion. Look at the conversation we just had in regards to Microsoft at the beginning of this generation. The community shouted enough for Microsoft to change their whole image on the console, as well as with the Kinect. At one point they said Kinect, that the Xbox would never work without the Kinect.
Yeah.
Look at the Xbox, because gamers voice their opinion. They open their mouth. So I agree with D. If enough people open their mouth, the developers will have to, give in to that, because at the end of the day, it's our wallet that allow them to do what they're able to do.
Yeah.
Well, man, what were you saying all day? You saying people will go more than PC?
I'm saying consoles in general are just heading more into the PC spectrum of power.
All right. I mean, they're x86. Don't get me wrong. They're consoles start becoming more like PC. There are PCs in the closed box when you got a CPU. You get that in there. You know what I mean? The CPU and stuff in there. You know what I mean? And like I said, they're all x86. Just I don't know what the hell Nintendo's doing, but there are PCs in the closed box. They are at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But even with more options, I don't. If you're a console gamer, you're a console gamer. I'll give you an example, right? Why I prefer consoles. I have a very, very capable PC. I like the community. I like to sit down and talk, have fun. You understand what I'm saying? That's just me when I'm gaming. Maybe you're not a social guy. You know what I mean? I like the fact that when I listen to what I'm saying very clearly. I mean, and maybe it may have changed since then, but when I haven't bought a game for PC out from Steam since 2012. I might give away my damn Steam account. I'm not going to use this anymore. I got a few games, about 40, 50 games in there. But anyway, as I was saying, right, that when I got my first rig before it came, right, they had, have the Steam sale or the summer sale or April spring sale, and I went and took advantage and bought all those damn games, right? You know what I mean? Bought all the damn games for dirt cheap, right? And then when I got the rig or whatever, and I went to, and this is coming from a console thing, so I wasn't expecting this. So when you buy a game from the Xbox Live store or the PlayStation store, you expect it to boot on, code on, and work, more or less. I understand that games be buggy, I understand that games be crashes, but every time the game specifically was Dirt 3, every time I went to boot the game up, I kept getting the blue screaming to death.
Man, you can't run no Dirt 3 on no e-machine, dog.
Whatever the case. But anyway, what I'm saying is that, by the way, I want to call, you call Microsoft. I don't know about something. You call Microsoft, hey, my game ain't working. I didn't know what to do. I had to send an email to Steam. They had to send me back, but I had to go get a patch of file from this Russian site and put it in the game. I don't want to go through all that. You know what I mean? I just want to sit down, plug, and play. And then people say, well, next gen, you always talk about graphics. I mean, I get it. I understand it. Also, too, bro, what I've noticed, the games, I'm a controller guy. I don't really care for the mouse and keyboard thing. games are poorly optimized a lot of the times with controllers. You know what I mean? They don't feel as polished to me. That's just my opinion. The way they make me feel to me. Maybe it may not be the same for you, but for me, I like my friends. I like the community. I like the games. Feel like they work on the controller. Now, to me, it feels like the controller is the afterthought, but the mouse and keyboard, that's the primary, the input. Now, how you got a eraser or whatever. You may use a steering wheel, but the main input, like I said, is made for the controller. And then maybe the steering wheel second. It's the other way around to me, like I said, on far as PC. What's that goddamn game?
Hey, it sound like Z talking, reading from the back of a CD pamphlet.
No, it's the truth though. But you know what I mean? Like, that's what I got. You know what I mean? Like, damn, all this for what? Then ain't nobody talking.
So when you had your PC,
I got one. So yeah.
I mean, did you ever play anything on it at all?
Yeah, I play. I got videos on me playing. I blew. What's that trolling? RXL. Blew them out in 2K12. You know, I played it. I had the Tomb Raider. I mean, I get it. Listen, let me get the reason why I even got a PC, believe it or not, is because I got so tired of the 7th generation. Like with the graphics, they got real old. I've been there, bro. I've been in the 7th generation since day one. I got the Xbox in 2005. I got the PS3 in 2006. You know what I mean? I've been there since day one. So the games to me felt real stale and very dated. Then I started hanging out with Hard 8 and I'm like, yo, why y'all graphics look so much better than mine? Oh, we playing on PC. I'm like, oh wow, the images look good. So that's what piqued my interest. You know what I mean? Like, damn, like I said, these consoles took so long to come out. Then I was like, oh man, what the hell going on here? You know what I mean? So that's
a great point. That's a great point. I want to ask you about something. The whole panel here. What do you guys feel about these consoles coming out every 40 years or so?
I think it's dope.
I like it.
I think it's dope.
You know what? We got cell phones that come out like every year, and I got suckered in this year. I bought an S7 Edge last year, and then I saw the S8 this year. I was like, oh shit, I gotta get it. And these phones, they're not cheap. These phones are like a G Note.
You got so many people complaining about this, and it makes no sense to me. Because for me, I like the power. I like new hardware. I like things to push the tech. And if you wait 10 years, that's not going to push the tech. I mean, by the end of that cycle, you're going to be at least 10 years behind PC.
Yeah. It was very, very unhealthy for gaming. Normally, I give you an example. Normally, when the 360 came out and then the PS3, they were ahead of gaming PCs. You know what I mean? Because normally, people, maybe at their age, people think that generation is supposed to be 8-9 years. No, a console generation is only supposed to be 4 to 5 years. It's always been since I've been gaming, and you get new hardware, and that's it. And that's it for the previous generation. Last generation lasted about, it just ended maybe last year, but it came out with
almost a decade, bro.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's still getting games, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? But even when, like I said, the Xbox, what I thought was a no-no to me, even when the Xbox One and the PS4 came out, the PS3 and the 360 was still getting games. You know what I mean? Even some of the biggest games were still on previous gen. Look, we jump up and down about Tomb Raider, right? Tomb Raider looks great. What's it? Rise of Sun and Rome, Rise of Tomb Raider, whatever. Yeah. I can get that on a 360. Forza Horizon 2, love it, great. I can get that on 360. Titanfall, love it, great. Get that on the 360. Destiny, love it, great. I can get that on the PS3 and 360. You know what I mean?
But if you look at the end of those eras, that's when developers really was squeezing as much as they could out of the hardware. You know what I'm saying? That's when they were squeezing as much as they could out of the hardware.
Yeah, but as much as they squeezed out of it, it still wasn't even touching what the PC was doing. We were like 12 behind what they were doing. Yeah. Even right now, I mean, the 60 frames 30 thing, it's ridiculous how people are trying to damage control this right now. Honestly, bottom line is this: we have a powerful console. Why not leverage that power and give us options like, just like Dee was saying about the toggles? It makes I heard about this argument with oh no, but then it's going to get to the point where people are going to ask for more. Bullshit. Because let me tell you, they've got options on some of these games on the Pro. They've got toggles, and is anybody complaining? Is anybody bitching for more? No.
Actually, I want to touch on that since you.
But I just finish up. With these games, because I heard the argument saying, well, people just like the ease of using a console. Put the game in and play. Guess what? You can still do that. Tomb Raider, you put it in, you play the game. You don't have to mess with those toggles, and they're just there for people who want to play with extra frames.
Yeah.
Come on. It's
the whole 30 frames, 60 frames per second thing with the X1X. I learned some things today. I watched the interview with with a rare developer, a GameSpot. He said they had just received their Xbox XDKs a month ago, and they have yet to port Sea of Thieves over to the Scorpio because they haven't had the time. So the footage we got of Sea of Thieves at E3 was all running on the Xbox One S. The Super Lucky Tail developer just got his XDK a month ago, though he got Super Lucky Tails up running 4K, 60 frames per second, unoptimized. Digital Foundry confirmed that majority of the developers that they spoke with at E3 was just now getting their hands on these XDKs. So if that's the case, they can't, if they just getting their hands on the SDKs, of course, and their games are just like months away from release, of course they're gonna go with checkerboard or 30 frames per second or whatever they have at that time because they haven't had time with the SDKs.
Yeah, but here's the problem too. Parity is going to be an issue here. With some developers are going to be developing stuff for the pro first, and then they're going to be sliding that over.
You know what? I gotta disagree with you. I think that's going to change actually because of the ease of creating these games on a UWP platform where they can have it for the Xbox One S, the Xbox One X, and PC. I think it's going to change. I think it's going to become the lead platform.
How many are really going to give you that on PC? How many are going to play everywhere? Like, you got to understand, at the end of the day, PS4 and the PS4 Pro are leading right now. So some developers, you are going to get that port. Like, I believe that this Assassin's Creed is a port. Like, I'm sorry, I just think that if you got a checkerboard Assassin's Creed, it must be a port for them.
But Garrett, I agree with D on this because the games are developed on the PC and the Scorpio allows them to start from the top down instead of from the bottom up.
Yeah,
so they can pull those PC profiles over to the XDKs.
It's automatic. Once they're doing one version, they're doing all of them.
Let me get what you're saying. D, maybe you could agree with me here.
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get your okay. What are you saying? What's your point? And then what D is saying?
Okay, basically, if you get a game on the Pro and they just slide it over to the X, and it's the same assets and everything, you will still probably get a better experience on the X because it should run the game a bit better. So let's say you're having a couple of frame drops on the Pro, it should run better on the X. Am I right? Because of the hardware.
Oh, yeah, it's a beefier CPU or whatever. But here's my thing though, and I hope that's not the case, right? As far as porting over to the left or the right. I'm buying the Xbox One X, right? Because and I want to be clear this, okay? Even though you see some troll videos from me in the future, shitting on the game's running better at a higher. I'm letting you know right now at a higher resolution than what's on the Pro. I can care less. My TV is going to or whatever is going to upscale it any damn way. You know what I mean? My thing is the graphics, and my biggest issue. I've said this for day one. See, a lot of people, whoever you come up here and they slam the Xbox or they slam the PlayStation or whatever, and don't own one. You know what I mean? So when I tell you, listen, you make it a comedic relief, or me bugging out, saying a whole bunch of stuff, bugging out, having fun with it. But I bought the Pro day one. Let's be clear. I bought the Pro day one, and if you've been rocking out with me for a minute, you guys know I have been very in support of the Pro, or even this new hardware. I'm a gamer. You know what I mean? And like I said, what was told to me originally back then that both Sony and Microsoft were coming out with new consoles. First thing in my head was Slim. They said, no, not Slim. Slims are not new consoles. They said more powerful hardware. Cool. Bring it into present day. 4.2 teraflops, right? That's more in the regular PlayStation is what 1.8 teraflops. It's a very, very capable console. Okay. So when I'm thinking I'm going to buy the quote unquote the PS4 Pro, that I was going to have a higher graphic fidelity. That's the reason why I bought it. You know what I mean? My TV is going to upscale whatever TV you got. If you have a 4K TV, whatever the case, it's going to upscale it regardless, because if it didn't, you had those black bars around the goddamn TV. It's going to upscale regardless. I wanted better graphics.
I'm a graphics whore too. Okay,
there you go.
I like my graphic fidelity as well. Yeah. But that's the problem with these mid-gen consoles. They're pushing 4K. It's ridiculous in my opinion. Right now, only 18% of households in America have a 4K television. Within 3 years, we should get another next-gen system. Or let's even push it to 4 maybe. Okay. But the fact is, by then it'll be 39%. projected. So why push to 4K right now? Why not just get even 1440p at 60 frames with some of these games on these mid-gen consoles, or 1080 at high?
That's where the toggle comes in.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because the general consumer doesn't know what 1440p is because they don't sell 1440p TVs. The general consumer cares about 4K because that's the newest TV they see on the shelf.
Right.
So they're gonna go for whatever the general consumer likes. We as gamers know what's better for games.
The general
consumers are gonna go for what they see.
Consumer also thinks resolution is graphics. You have to realize they're pretty fucking stupid.
Right. Not only that, though, if you look at the market,
they're going for that market because those are more of the people who buy consoles. We'll buy something because we're gonna buy it regardless.
But listen, Master, and to be fair, and let's be clear this, and to be fair, I forgot. I think it came from Nielsen. That the 4K, the adaptation for 4K. Because some people think is I can't even afford a 4K. 4K TVs are very cheap. They're outphasing the 1080p. They're outphasing 1080p TV. And even the adaptation right now of 4K TVs is outpacing the 1080p television back at the start of last generation. You know what I mean?
That's because the price differences, the chips and everything in these TVs, everything has gotten so cheap that new TVs
it's old technology. You know what I mean? Look, I'll give you an example. And I want you guys to I promise. I would never do this again, right? But in 2000, maybe, I'm lying. 2001, but maybe 2002, I was reading an article on the internet, and it was Samsung, and they had preview quote unquote Ultra HD, right? We weren't even doing shit in 720p back then, right? And I remember me reading this article, right? And it was saying that when they showed off the TV to the investors, it was like on a 100-foot screen or whatever, Ultra HD. It was talking about HK. It was talking about 8K, 4K, 2K, some other shit, had all the resolutions. This is back in 2002, right? That it gave people motion sickness. Like it was just that realistic. And I remember me like, oh man, I can't wait. And remember like this, when we went from the quote unquote the sixth generation to this, even though if you know, I was pretty up on the tech. I had me my TV was 1080i back then. I used to do the S video with my Xbox One or put it in the, even the Xbox One, it did high def. It had the thing, but it was like 480i or P or whatever the case may be with interlacing and all stuff. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. And I remember when we went from standard resolution with our games, and then with the 360, it was like oh shit, like my God, what is this? You see these graphics? Like, oh my God, it melted in my face. Like, oh my God. And that was an old shit moment to me.
If people would, if more casual gamers would understand that at 1080p ultra settings, 60 frames per second, that game will look better than 4K medium settings at 30 frames per second. And that's what it boils down to, guys. It's the casuals that are dictating the marketplace. So 4K.
More money there.
Okay. Yeah. No, okay. I just want to say a few things here. Z, on you saying about the upscaling. Now, it does make a difference. Now, if you're at 1440p and you're upscaling it to 4K, it's going to look crisper than 1080p being upscaled to 4K.
It's going
to look better. Now, the problem with
let me listen. I'm going to give you an example what I'm saying before. I don't want you to misquote me and go off in this tangent.
No, I understand what you're saying. I just want to say
this is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Yes, the resolution gives you a sharper image. I get it, D. In the grand scheme of things. But when you're coming down, when I'm talking about my graphics, better textures, better shaders. I'll give you an example. You can play.
I get it.
We can play God of War 3. We can keep it simple. You can play God of War 3, right, on your PS3 with a 720p and upscale to 1080p or whatever, right? Or you can play Super Mario Brothers 64 in 4K with a thing. Which one is going to look better graphically?
Of course.
Why? Because it has better shaders and better textures. Definitely. You know what I mean? That's the important thing. You know what I mean?
Now I'm going to say that the differences between the systems. Now, the PS4 Pro, the problem is that it just doesn't have enough RAM. It doesn't have enough juice. So they're stuck with the medium to high settings. They're not going to have ultra on their games. Now, the difference with Xbox One X is that it's powerful enough to run even 4K 30 frames per second ultra settings, if not high ultra hybrid. It can run everything pretty much at 1440p 60 frames per second ultra settings, and it can run 1080p 60 frames per second ultra settings. It can run that. And on the topic of 4K TVs, most TVs being sold today, they're all 4K TVs. You can't really find a 1080p TV. Yep. So this is the new thing. This is the time to push it, and it's usually these consoles that push these medium forwards. Like it was the console that pushed Blu-ray forward. The Xbox One S, believe it or not, sold a lot of 4K TVs, and Samsung once again is going to partner up with Xbox One X. So 4K is here. 4K time is now, and this is the moment for it to release it. So
you got 4K set-top boxes coming out, or that's already out on the market. But television going that way too.
Fonzarelli, even Microsoft, I always got one of those guys listening, hopping in the show. I don't know why they got me on. I think Microsoft working with the FBI, they always hopping in that much shit, man. Look, true story though. But listen, even what I think Microsoft, even though they showed it at the beginning of the E3 with super sampling. But even if you don't have a 4K TV, that your games are going to look better graphically because of the super sampling, downsound is going to look better graphically, better than anything you ever seen on a 1080p television. Yeah. I think they really, again, should really, really nail that home, because people, I'll give you an example. The guy Craig that joined this show, was it Thursday? Whatever. Okay, yeah, shout out my man Craig. It was kind of ugly, but anyway, even with that, he was basically saying there's no reason to get an X because they're both checkerboarding, right? And why would you pay $100 more? But even if they're both checkerboarding from whatever the resolution. But I understand, I get it. But I'm just going to to keep it simple, right? Even if they're both checkerboarding, because I keep hearing it. But why's the purpose of me buying the X and it's going to checkerboard like the Pro can checkerboard? Yes, it's going to checkerboard. Not all games, but you're going to have the PC or the 4K assets that you can't get on the Pro, and that's why I go back to my original statement as far as with Sony and what they're, and listen, this is not no troll shit. I said this when I got the Pro. I got the Pro because I thought I was going to have better graphics. I understand it doesn't have a higher memory bandwidth. Okay, a lot of people don't understand that the Pro has 5 gigs of GDDR5, clock slightly higher than the standard PS4. I think is at 226 or whatever gigabytes. 218. I'm sorry, not even that high. And then when you have the Xbox One is 326. Or 52, whatever.
On a 384-bit.
Okay. And they have 9 gigabytes that allocated for. Just think about it. You have one that has about 5, most 5.5.
Less than 5.
Okay, allocated for gaming. Okay, which is, it's still, it is what it is. And then you have another console that has 9 at a much higher memory bandwidth. So not only are you going to be able to get the higher resolution, because like I said, we can't negate this whole generation about resolution, a higher resolution, but you're also going to get a higher graphic fidelity. Where here's the Pro is either you can get higher resolution or a higher graphic fidelity. That's why what Sony would just do 1080p 30, because I don't think they can do 16 a lot of their games. Just 1080p 30 and say, hey, and give me better graphics and let the goddamn console upscale to 4K. But Sony has, quote unquote, they how you said, they came back to bite them in the ass. Pumped everything with resolution.
Developers was pushing Sony to add more memory to the Pro before it came out.
Yes.
And they I guess they didn't do it. But Microsoft listened, just like they listened when what's the name told them to add that 512 to the 360.
Yes.
And recently developers asked for that, according to Microsoft, developers asked for that extra 1 gigabyte to take it to 9.
Yeah,
they asked for that, and MS made it happen.
Well, all you got to do is look at the X and what they showed with Assassin's Creed and that draw distance. Nothing like that on the Pro.
Let me ask you a question.
I've had the Pro since day one.
Okay.
And yes, there is some great looking games, but at the same time, I've been very disappointed with it because they're not pushing it like I think they should. Because this thing, the Pro itself cannot really do 4K. It can do native 4K on sports games and
fighters.
That's about it.
Yeah. Even the upscale 4K, because I got a Pro, also had it since day one. Horizon on the little 4K mode where it upscales, like you can see blocks appear on screen when you start moving too fast. Like the artifact on that game is ridiculous, and that's supposed to be your flagship 4K mode game. Like
that's due to that checkerboard.
Well, it's because of the checkerboard, and they're not going to be able to do nothing above that. That's first party working with first party.
What that is here, hey Fonzarelli, and you can take him here. You guys said you got the Pro, right? Day one. Garrett, you got a Pro too, right?
Nah, bro, I skipped the Pro. I'm about to get one though.
Okay, whatever.
I gotta have all next gen stuff.
Okay, not a problem. All right, cool. And it's being real. So you guys have one. You said it's been pretty much very underwhelming. Okay, like I said, maybe not maybe. When I look at, because I understand it's more than just T-flop to make, but when you think about you're going from 1.8 to 4.2, that's a lot of mustard on a hot dog, right?
No, definitely.
Okay. And to even take it one step further, got to a grade, you would need the PS4 Slim plus the Pro to equal the Xbox One X in performance. Like you got 6 T-flops. These are talking about T-flops here, and you have 1.8 and 4.2. It gave you 6, right? Shits and giggles, right? So you would need the Pro and the Slim together to equal the power of the X, right? You said it's been very underwhelming, right? And this is like I said, reading the documents that I was reading, they said it took little or no effort or whatever the case may be. They said something like 1%. The documents that I had went really into detail and stuff. How they can achieve it, and even in those documents, Sony was pressing. They didn't want anything lower than 1800p or whatever the case may be.
That's ridiculous. That's my point. Is especially with the Pro. It's not really a native 4K console.
No, it's not.
So why not push higher graphic fidelity? Give them higher settings instead of the resolution.
That's all that I'm saying. That's all that I'm saying. No one has a 1440, 1400p TV, an 1800p TV. So whatever the case may be, it's going to upscale. And to me, like I said, if things really, because this, listen. And you I know you're more of a Sony. I heard you were more of a Sony guy.
Yeah, but I've been playing more Sony games.
Okay, not a problem. But if you look at and people confuse what I'm saying. If you look at what Microsoft showed, the multiplats or whatever they showed it at their E3, especially if you watched it on a 4K TV or stream with the HDR. I watched it on Mixer on my Samsung 4K television, not 9 series, right? So I was like, oh, it really blew me away. It looked much better than it on YouTube, right? So if let's run, because people, again, I guess they hear what they want to hear. And I'm not saying that the games that Microsoft showed were better than Sony's. Listen, people like you used to. Look at what Microsoft, look at the first game they showed was Metro, right? And right there, when I saw the insects, the level of detail, you had insects on the blades of grass in Metro.
You can see the fur.
Hold on, sit down.
Yeah, and Metro, they're a great developer, so I believe. I'm positive they're gonna deliver on that.
Okay, but what they did with the previous games. Compare it, and then even I'll give you a low end type one, low end. You look at Ori and Blind Forest, and you saw that code, right? Those Ori looked. This is talking about graphically.
The Will of the Wisp. Oh
listen,
man,
it looked better than anything graphically that I've seen on the stage from Sony. I'm not talking about. I would rather have God of War. Yes, I would rather have Spider-Man. Yes, I would rather have No Days Gone. I'm just talking about graphics, okay? And we're talking about on a live stream, okay? What stood out to me was those games look better graphically. Do you think Sony will maybe take a step back? Because that's when, at the end of the day, because they can't match them with resolution.
Nope, I doubt it.
You know what I mean? And say, you know what? Hey, 1080p. But I heard different things about the. I heard that Sony didn't have the downsampling or something embedded into
it's only a few games on the PS on the Pro that does super sampling. X1X does it automatically at a hardware level across all games. And that's what Digital Foundry was saying. Hopefully what Microsoft is doing on the X at hardware level with the super sampler will force Sony to do the same thing, because right now the developers have to implement it, and so far only a few games have it.
Okay,
Z, you brought up a good point, because you were talking about the games at E3 and how great they looked on the X. It's funny how everybody was wowed by it. Even on the Sony side, they were wowed by those graphics. But 24 hours later, when it came out that checkerboard or dynamic 4K was being used, and that's what's funny. That's what's funny, because that makes no sense to me. If a game looks good, it looks good. Checkerboard be damned.
Yeah, like I said, I played at least 20 games at that event, and all of them look great, bro.
This is something. The console only gonna do what the developer tell it to do. It's a native 4K capable machine, but it's only gonna do what the developers tell it to do.
But this is the main problem. Like all these Digital Foundry and all these people doing like all these analyses on these things right now, they're getting their Xbox One X's. All the developers getting their core console. This is what the console will be when it releases. Again, these XDKs that'll develop over time. Until the fall update drops, they're not going to know what they can and cannot port over because
it's
they
not
don't
at
know
100%.
what that is going to change. Like the fall update doesn't drop for another 3 months.
Yeah.
Until that happens, they're not going to know what settings they can just flip the switch and say this is now on the X or this is now on the S. They're not going to know that, and everybody's playing this little.
I got a comment for you guys. Can add to this.
Game.
Well, not a comment. My man here. Shout out to everybody that's rocking out with us in the live stream. Hit the like button. Got in 2073. Hit the like button.
Yes, sir.
Listen, my man here, and this would get a little weird. Not really weird. He says here, his name is Gaming Since the 80s. Shout out to you first. I mean, I'm not even trying to put you on the blast and everything. But he said, when I was talking about the graphics, right? He said, what he said? He said, next gen chip was CGI, no gameplay. I mean, hey, hold on. Hey, listen. Lay down. Shut up. Be quiet. You said it was CGI. You know what I mean? Okay. You look at the game Anthem. That was gameplay, and even EA came out and said that was on Scorpio or whatever, or whatever. They're all running on PCs with the specs or whatever case of the Scorpio. You know what I mean? And games are going to look better as time goes along. You know, because they be able to find. You know, they get a better grasp of the tools, the hardware. They're able to squeeze more power out of it. What do you say to that? Like, you know what I mean? That was what to me what caught out in my eye, where that the graphics. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I know, but here's the problem I have with Digital Foundry. Somebody brought that up. Digital Foundry, I don't mind their analysis and stuff.
Okay.
That's cool, but they got to be fair about it because what I see as a neutral, okay, I don't take sides with corporations. I'm a gamer at the end of the day. I don't give a fuck about Sony. I don't give a fuck about Microsoft, okay? I care about the games. So when they do their little thing, I see it just as well as some of you guys do. They'll say something about Anthem. Like in case in point, they said, is it real? Okay. And then they show you, oh no, they're using checkerboarding. Okay. The game looks great though. They don't go on and on about how great it looks. They just tell you it's using checkerboarding. But with Horizon Zero Dawn, when they did their analysis, what did they say? It was a beautiful technical masterpiece.
Yep. Hold on.
Talk to him, Jay.
Hold up, Fonzo.
Wait.
See, this is the thing.
I missed what he said. What did he say?
Talk to him, Jay. Yes, sir. I agree with that,
bro. They called it Horizon Zero Dawn, a technical masterpiece for using checkerboard rendering.
Yeah.
They didn't say anything.
When Xbox do it, you lied.
Why you lie?
But
they announced that it's checkerboarded in the beginning, but they also, if you keep watching the video, they tell you how good it looks and how they really go in. You just like a lot of people, once you hear it's checkerboarded, and because it's the Xbox One X, that shit turned a lot of people off, and that's what a lot of the haters ran with.
But this is a checkerboard on PC side thing.
The game is beautiful. Not to mention it's a year and a half out, man. Like I be telling people that's checkerboarded now, but I'm not confirming that one. The Assassin's Creed, you got that for checkerboarded, but I don't know about Anthem.
We know why that's checkerboarded. From an engine perspective, we know why Assassin's Creed is checkerboard. But when we looking at the
actually checkerboard, like isn't that like on PC as well?
Yeah, but again, that's
it will be.
Because that's something that Ubisoft brought to the industry, checkerboarding. I think I don't have a patent.
Yeah, they did it with They started with Rainbow Six.
Yeah, you kind of got to expect it.
It's also on the PC side. I was just reading. Shout out to my man. He sent me the which one he was talking about it. Actually, he didn't send me. He was talking about it, and I went and Googled it for myself. There's checkerboarding on the PC side of things. So when you say that, but your 1080 is not powerful because it's checkerboard. If that's what the developer encoded in the game, then it is what it is. You know what I mean? I guess, like I said, Microsoft, they always, like I said, held to a different standard. But even if they're checkerboarding from, if the PlayStation version is, just say, 1400p or 1800p or whatever the case may be, or they're doing a dynamic resolution, the game is going to run better and look better on the X. You see what the developer said from Shadow of War or whatever the case. 4K native, or even but the PC textures, 4K assets. That's what people keep losing in translation. Like they're gonna look better graphically. You know what I mean? For $100 more. You know what I mean? And 4K Blu-ray.
Yeah, exactly. People just don't understand it. They just think resolution is graphics, and that is from Sony.
When I look at the Xbox One X, I'm not looking at it in the short term like a lot of people. Everybody's saying checkerboard. I understand the developers just getting these XDs. these XDKs. Some of them are still better. The software is not operable at 100% on these SDKs, so it's going to take time. I'm looking at the long term, because over the long term, when the developer get their hand on it and they really get in there and learn how that machine works, it's going to be over. It's going to be doing things simply no other console can do besides a PC.
And I think the biggest selling point of the Xbox One X is like just their multi-plat alone, such as Anthem, such as Assassin's Creed, looks better than any Sony first.
I was like, who is this?
Sorry. Yeah, than any Sony first-party game. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, you got a point. Also, like I don't even care that the shit is checkerboarded, bro. Like, and if you really care, do the numbers. You've only heard about 2 checkerboarded games on Xbox, bro. You keep hearing about all this native 4K. You heard about 2 checkerboard games. Like, what the fuck are you mad about?
I
think all I hear about is checkerboard.
I think
that doesn't matter either. If it looks good and plays good, rock with it.
Hey, Gary, you know what the new excuse is? That game is not demanding. That's what they say now. If it's running 4K native, that's not a demanding game.
But
you can't tell me. Hold up.
That's their new excuse now.
AD, you can't tell me that Forza's not demanding with its 700 cars and 30 some tracks?
360 hertz.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you the truth right now. Forza 7. Listen, Forza 7 is a console seller. I don't give a fuck what you say. You buy a console to play that game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Period.
I'm a Forza fan. Of course I'm buying it for that game. Of course.
Like, I'm not a motor.
But it's amazing that they got it at 4K, 60 frames per second. The way it looks with all, it's like ultra settings with all the bells and whistles. The aliasing looks great. And Digital Foundry, they tried to run it on the PC and they needed like a pretty powerful rig to run that game. So there's a lot of value in that box.
Frames, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
and it's the same games, the same engine. And actually,
I've seen dudes try to pick that game apart.
I'm not a motorsport. I'm not a Forza Motorsport fan. I'm a Horizon fan. However, when I look at that Motorsport, I'm buying that day one. That's how good it looks.
It's the graphical showcase. You need it.
But
yeah, when I played it, I haven't seen a game look better than that to date. Period.
But to add what we were talking about with checkerboarding, what's funny to me is that everybody was like shocked by this or something. Phil Spencer said months ago that sparse rendering would be a technique that was there for the developers if they chose to use it. So a couple of chose to use it. So what? Get over it.
And let me ask all you guys a question right now. I mean, say if Red Dead Redemption 2 come out, y'all gonna buy it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So would you sit in the corner and be depressed because it's checkerboarded and not buy it?
Fuck no. That's what I told
then.
people about the new Spider-Man game. Like, I don't give a fuck that it's checkerboarded. So what? Look at the game. The game looks beautiful.
Yo, I think even with the Spider-Man thing, I don't think it was
I don't care that it's 30 frames either. Oh well, I've been playing Grand Theft Auto all day long, stealing people's cars and selling them for like 60 grand with my little criminal enterprise. I don't care, bro. That's 30 frames per second. I'm having fun. I don't know what y'all doing out here, bro.
But all we saying is 60 frames is a nice choice.
Yeah, but if you were to play that game in 60
hold up, but don't get it twisted. If you tell me I can have an option to have 60 frames, I'm taking it.
Oh, of course.
All day long. Options are always welcome.
Another thing with this option of like say 1440p 60 frames per second, say you have a 1080p TV and it super samples it down and you say, you know how fucking clean that's gonna look?
Yeah.
Clean.
Yeah.
At 60 frames.
Hey, so everybody in the comments on Twitter, start talking about them frame rates to these devs, man.
Yeah, you got
but can listen, here's my question. No jokes aside. Can the Pro do 60 frames per second?
Yeah.
In a graphically demanding
on some games.
Yeah, on some games. If they would get off of this 4K stuff and just go straight to 1440p and upscale it, yeah, I could do it.
Hey D, I gotta ask you something, bro. I've always had I've always thought that these consoles can't do 60 frames on large open world games because that's what it seems like. Whereas though the more linear games like a Call of Duty, they can do it. But the large open world games, they don't seem to hit it. Well, the large open world games with a lot going on, like they hit 60 frames per second on the Metal Gear Solid. But if you ever played Metal Gear Solid, it's not much going on when you're running around. Like you might see a bird fly, but it's not really a lot.
That's 60 frames per second.
That's the CPU. That's why they can't get like that on the console. But like if Microsoft stuck to their fucking guns and we had the cloud and it would be offloading all this fucking
Well, here's the
shit.
thing, though, but what about the standard Xbox? You know, that's not gonna be a deal.
Yeah. What about Delilah HD? What's up, Delilah? She brought up a great point in the comments. She said, "What about Ark? That's a big graphically demanding game. Open.
Oh, it really is.
And it's at 60 frames on the X. I heard.
Yeah,
and that's crazy. That look it up on Google or whatever, YouTube. That game cripples PCs.
It does.
1080p.
Yeah,
and they're talking about Epic
30 on the Pro.
top of that.
It's 30 on the Pro, and it's
that's insane.
Listen, even with that, we got one huge game. I want to use whatever. You got one game, Ark. When it's out already now, but it's going to
officially released in August.
Oh, it comes out in August. Okay, so but when the Pro comes out, when the X comes out, it's going to be 60. Because I remember, what's the game? I give you an example. Tomb Raider, the remastered one, or whatever, not the remastered one they had on the 360. They rehanced it for the Xbox.
Yes, it was unlocked PS4 30.
Okay, and the PS4 version was 60 frames or close to, and the Xbox version was 30. Do you think they're going to make what quote unquote the media, Digital Foundry, whoever, going to make a big deal?
Nope.
With the Pro version being 30.
They won't.
And the version still being 60. You think it's gonna be an issue?
Nope.
I want to get your opinion about this, Fonzo. We can maybe close it with this go around. I did a video yesterday. Shameless plug, right? And I was saying that Digital Foundry, has been kind of quiet this far when it comes to regarding Sony and their E3 exclusives. What I mean by that is that 2014 and 2015, Microsoft, they were snatching Microsoft videos off from YouTube or commercials, and they was counting them. And they was counting the pixels. Like I said before, Xbox guys, we couldn't even enjoy our demos. I mean, not demos, our betas without Digital Foundry. This is 720p and this, that, and the other, counting the frames and stuff like that. But they're very quiet when it comes to Sony. And they're exclusive. Now they talked about, and this is not no flame, console. This is some real shit. They had a little thing about No Days Gone. They talked over about the environment, but when, like I said, the Gears of War made and all, they just showed a little trailer or whatever on YouTube. They took the trailer and counted the frames and all types of stuff, right? And they're very quiet when it comes to Sony and their games. I know Sony said at E3 that everything we saw at E3 was running on the PS4 standard. It wasn't running the Pro. My thing is, what is Digital Foundry at when it comes to the Spider-Man, when it comes to the God of Wars, when it comes to the No Days? You know what I mean? Where are they? It comes
down, Z. It comes down to this: all media loves drama because it sells. Okay? The gaming industry is no different. So they fan the fuel of this console war. They fan it because they love this stuff. Because the more it goes on, the more they get clicks. They're making money off of all this stuff at the end of the day. Digital Foundry, they're doing the same thing. It's no different. And of course, some of them may have their preferences with their consoles. So yeah, they may be more Sony biased. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to the media. They love drama because it sells. That's facts.
I don't know. Like I said, they've been very quiet. They said, "Oh, this is everything you see is running on the standard PS4." Cool, not a problem. But where are the tech analysis at? You know what I mean? Where's the frames? Where are the dips at? They have been very quiet. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Just make things fair. Like I said, if you're part of the media, quote unquote, you're supposed to be a non-biased. Even what they can say with the Switch, they don't fucking scrutinize the Switch stuff like they did.
That doesn't happen in all media, though. There is no fairness in media with the journalists.
They're just gonna go with whatever is selling at the time. Whatever is gonna get them clicks. Whatever is gonna get the normal people arguing in their comment section, clicking on their articles over and over again. That's whatever they.
Maybe I'm a little naive.
Right now, that's Microsoft Field and the X1X. Those were drafts clicks.
Right now, listen. Maybe I'm a little naive. Maybe I was born last Tuesday in the North Pole. Maybe I'm saying a little else. But like I said, when I think about the media, okay. Now, what we do here on YouTube or whatever the case, you have your channel. We are, like I said today, we are also considered media, but I don't consider us a media. You know what I mean? When you have You know, don't get me wrong, everybody is biased. Everybody, let's say, even if you're a parent, everyone has that one favorite child or whatever. It is what it is, the truth. You know what I mean? We're human. You may prefer something over the other, which is cool. But like I said, when I think about the media or quote unquote the IGNs, the Kotakus, whatever, if you know, for those who they're talking about the cows, who may go to the site, right, or and to see a review of the game, you know what I mean? Or whatever fan you may be, or whatever platform, whether you're a Nintendo guy, Xbox or PlayStation guy, they should be able to come to your site or whatever the case and get a non-biased opinion. You know what I mean? Without spin on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they see, honestly though, guys, they do see everything going on Twitter with all the fanboys and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why they fuel it. They see all this stuff going on. They do come to YouTube and watch you guys.
Yes, I know. Trust me, I know that for sure. I know that. That's how I met some of the people that I know now within the industry from watching my videos, from me having 33 subscribers that I'm friends right now to this day. I met them here on YouTube within my account. I say that all the time. You'd be surprised who watches your videos on your channel. Look at the prime example.
You're speaking the truth.
Look at the prime example, right? Yeah. I'm sorry. YouTube is more bigger than IGN. So now what happened was the IGNs, the Kotakus, whoever, the GameSpot, all that they had to change their business model. Now they're over here at YouTube. I'll give you an example. Michael Patrick, right? He was big shit back in the day, right? Because you had companies like Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, Samsung, whoever, but paid his company millions of dollars, right, to take data, whatever. So now, what developers or what companies have now, they can go to YouTube and see every Joe Schmo, such as myself, you guys, whoever, and see honestly what we think about their product without paying these people millions and millions of dollars. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So that wasn't the case before. So now you see what the everyday Joe Schmo thinks about your product. That's why I say all the time, you'd be surprised who watches your video. You're surprised who, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be. So now they have a quote unquote, like I say, a connection with their consumers. You know what I mean? Social media.
It's like YouTube provided a platform where the GameSpot and IGNs now have to compete with the consumer.
Yes.
Because now the consumer is able to directly give their own opinion about their games and what they think about the games.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's why. And if you ask me who keeps this console war going on, no, it ain't BGST. No, it ain't me. You know what I mean? You have people from like The Verge. Look what they did to me last year with the Titanfall 2. Bring this in on check. I got those in the middle of that.
That's why they have to write those articles to drive people to their site. Other than that, people are gonna be on YouTube all day.
If you think I'm exaggerating, you had 1,000 comments left to that thing. The guy from, I forget the developer's name, from Remedy, Entertainment. He showed off the PlayStation version of the Titanfall 2 that was finished, right? So
the blue disc.
Yeah, the PlayStation. You know, he showed up the PlayStation 4 version. So what the fan said, or the guy, I'm not even going to, put him under the bus. He said, "Hey man, just say the guy name is Tom. I won't start no shit again. Hey Tom, that's cool. Can you hook me up with the Xbox version of the game?" And that developer turned around and said to that guy, "Hey, bring this art as sexy."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now listen, right? Now check it out. Now they went on trying to spin it. We were talking about the beta version that when they all finished, it's called the green disc. My man didn't ask you about the beta version or the asked you for the Xbox One version of the game. The Xbox version is green, and you said a green disc is sexy. Now listen, you had a bunch of irate Xbox fans that said a whole bunch of shit in that whole conversation, right? But what did they do? They singled me out, and I said, "Oh man, hey, what you mean? That's not cool." I said something literally to the fact of that, because I don't get nasty with nobody on Twitter, regardless of what you may think or Nixon's. I don't bother nobody. I don't tweet anybody. If I do, it's very, very something that I say anything. You know what I mean? But what they do, they took my name, my Twitter account, and my shit, and then BGST or whatever, and put that shit on the Kotaku, this, that, and the other. I'm getting all types of hate, man. That shit was crazy as hell. But being me, being who I am, not saying I'm anybody, they just took it, and that's what quote unquote keeps the. I don't know. I think there will always be a console war. It's not, that's just
and like you said,
it's human nature. We root for the Bulls over fucking Piston.
I think honestly, the way I look at it though, with BGST and Weapon Wheel and things like that, all that is to me is just a little bit of seasoning and a big giant pot of gumbo that's fueled by the media. That's all it is. You guys are just sprinkles on that shit. So I mean, it's really
Hey, basically all the podcasts are prep work for the kitchen. I'm telling you.
Yeah, dude, it's really the journalism that has really died here. I just across the board, but in the gaming industry, it's sad because we have journalists with no objectivity anymore. It's all this biasness stuff just to fuel this shit, and it's really sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's gonna be very, very interesting to see how things takes off this holiday season with the Xbox One X. Are you getting one, Fonzarelli?
Day one.
All right, we'll go across the board. We'll get the hell up out of here. It's already 10 o'clock. Neethles, you there? Neethles.
Yes. Okay, bye.
What, you back to sleep, bro?
Sorry.
What you back there doing, bro?
I was looking at Sony. It looks like they won the main.
Man, somebody cut this motherfucker.
It's sucking Sony.
What?
Yeah, Sony won the main PD. They beat out the Switch.
Oh yeah, I have the numbers here. Sorry, I thought you guys.
Let's go over the numbers. What, the Switch lost?
Yeah, the Switch lost.
Yep, just like you said.
Damn.
Yeah, I'll tell you the numbers here.
Okay.
So PS4 won. I don't see the Switch mentioned. I see hard. This says PS4. I don't know where Xbox One went. The top game was Injustice 2.
All right.
The game is higher than Mario Kart 8's year-to-date sales.
No.
So it's a little bit lower than 1 million.
Okay.
Mario Kart 8 was next. Grand Theft Auto, Legend of Zelda.
Wait. Hold on. You said Injustice was a little less than 1 million?
A little less than 1 million, yeah.
Okay, and it was above Mario Kart?
Yeah, above Mario Kart 8.
Well, listen. I ain't claiming to be the
here we go with your shit now. Shut up.
I'm just saying, what's the Switch install base? What's this?
Oh shit.
You know what I mean? Don't start that shit now. Come on now.
Oh, come on now.
He say men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. They losing the NPD already? The council came out in March?
And let me say something real quick. I was watching Black Oak. I got shout out to his channel, Game Illuminati. They were doing roundabouts on E3, asking developers questions. And every game, they made it a point to ask them, "Is this version coming on the Switch?" And all of them laughed. Maybe like out of 10 people, they all laughed, bro. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's so funny. Bro, like I said, man, it is what it is. We're gonna see if next gen right about this one. They ain't gonna admit it. You know what I mean? But we're gonna see if next gen right about this one too.
I want to add something too. It's a huge indie sale. ID at Xbox sales going on live right now. Certain games are like from $1 to $3. So when y'all get a chance,
how long the sale lasts? That's all a nigga care about.
I gotta check on that. Give me a minute.
Okay.
So just for today?
Hey, the whole MPD, not one Xbox game on there. Facts.
Okay, they ain't got no game.
Oh yeah, Z, you with me? Let's get this done.
What did Sony got?
Let's push this narrative.
I'll read the rest of the list. Number 3 is Grand Theft Auto. Number 4, The Legend of Zelda. Number 5 is Prey, and not including the digital sales. Tom Clancy, Ghost Wars.
Ghost Wars. What the hell was that?
Ghost Recon.
Sorry, Ghost Recon.
Ghost Wars, the fuck.
Fire Emblem Echoes. NBA 2K17 is number 8. Number 9, MLB 17, The Show. 10 is Overwatch. 11 is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. 12, Horizon Zero Dawn. 13, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. 14, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Black Ops 3. Holy shit. That's pretty good. Yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda. Fairpoint is 16. Oh, Fairpoint did well. That's not bad. VR game. Battlefield 1, 17. 18, Nier Automata. 19, Minecraft, still charting. 20, FIFA 17.
Hey, D, how did Kudakors? How'd they place?
They place. I don't know, man. I don't see Nintendo on here, so I don't know if Xbox beat them out too. So that would be a major drop off in sales if Xbox beat it as well.
The sale is valid through June 26th.
Okay, my question. So those numbers are for May.
Yeah,
May. Yes.
Yeah. So let me ask you. Listen, let me ask you, and maybe I don't want to panic here. When did the Switch come out?
March.
Yep.
May. Yep. So I said we're gonna come back to this conversation in 6 months, right? I've always said about 6 months. About 6 months we're gonna come back to this conversation, right? Now, I'm just saying. I ain't listening. Whoa, bro. Hey, Fonzo, I haven't spoken to you really. I mean, I'm probably gonna close to with this. How do you feel about that? What are your thoughts about?
No, Z, how you feel about that?
I'm just saying.
What exactly? What are you asking me?
Because everyone says I'm wrong about this Switch is going to be this. I don't know. No crap, my brother, I love him to death. But if I say tomato, he's gonna say tomorrow. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that the Switch it's not gonna do that well.
Okay, I have the same kind of thought process with this.
Let me give you my reason why. Because people I was gonna say this, and you can take it. The reason why I say it's not gonna do that well, because it's not gonna have any of the third party major multiplats. Nintendo, we've already seen this movie. Yes, the exclusive sell well, I get it, okay? But you get multiplats every Tuesday. You get exclusives every 3 months or so, or whatever. You know what I mean? Come this holiday season, your kids gonna want to do their Star Wars. You got Star Wars, you got Red Dead Redemption, you got Destiny, and none of those.
At the end of the day, look. Here's what's going to happen with the Switch, because it happens with every Nintendo console.
Okay.
They shoot their wad in the beginning. The first couple of years, they put out all their exclusive games, all their hype games, and then after that, they have nothing really. And they end up not selling after a couple of years. That Switch is going to sell great, and it has sold great. But give it a couple of years, guys. I think it'll start to be going the way of the Wii U. You know,
definitely going to go the same way. And the reason is because it's underpowered, so it's not going to carry all the multiplats like Z saying. Fortunately for them, it will be carrying some multiplats. Some games are coming to it, so that kudos to them for getting that. But at the same time, they're not going to be able to run a lot of them, especially when you got Xbox One X coming out, and games that run on 8 cores being the norm, and they have that shitty system.
I've said this before.
The onboard memory is horrible in that thing.
The Wii and Nintendo as a whole, like that whole phase, Nintendo has side chick syndrome. Like, they know they can't be the main chick, so they don't try. They intentionally go with something either ultra gimmicky or underpowered so that you get them as the console, not the console. And that is going to always be their problem, because third parties are going to go for the main chick, and the side chick is always going to get dropped. And that's just going to keep happening over and over until Nintendo gets with the program or betters their side chick. I need to be noticed but not paid attention to. Syndrome is not going to change for them.
Yeah, I can tell you how they could turn this around, though. They could drop the 3DS and the 2DS bullshit and just stick it with the Switch and market it as a handheld. Because to me, that's the way I see it. I see it as a handheld. I don't see
that would make sense, but they're not doing that. They're making another 3DS.
No, exactly. They're not going to do that.
And they promise support outside of 2018.
Yeah,
like I said, side chick syndrome. They want to be noticed, but after a while, you're just gonna stop paying attention to them. I have a Switch. I have one because I buy everything. I got the money. I buy whatever the hell I want. Nobody can tell me no different. Nintendo is going to do the same exact thing that they do with every console, which is they're going to, just like Quan said, they're going to put out everything right now. First couple years, none of the multiplats are going to come to it for real. So it'll start dying off. And if they do come to it, they're going to come 3-4 years later when nobody cares anymore.
Yeah. Or watered down. You'll get a third party like a Madden or call it
every so often,
built specifically for the machine that sucks.
Yeah, because things like Madden and stuff that have online pieces, the online piece for the Switch is going to be complicated and stupid, and nobody's going to want to play it.
Gotta use your phone.
Right, it's stupid. That's stupid. Straight up and down stupid. It's dumb. No matter what Nintendo says or tries to say about it, is dumb.
Why pay $20 a year when you could just use your phone?
That is true. They're not even giving you a headset.
Got to use it anyway. Might as well.
Yep.
But yeah, it's not going to sell well after a few years. It's going to be done. But this holiday, I know what is going to sell well. I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I think the Xbox One X, honestly, guys, I think it's going to sell better than the Pro when you compare the Pro to the PS4.
Yeah, I believe that.
I think Xbox, when you compare,
isn't it like number one on Amazon right now? Most requests.
Number one to wish for, yes.
Yeah, wish for, yeah.
I think because a lot of guys that have an Xbox One haven't upgraded to the S, those guys are probably going to go to the X.
Oh, that's absolutely what they're going to do.
And you're going to get a lot of guys that are going to see this console if they market it right and they have, let's say, a Samsung screen showing, what it can do. that's going to sell like hotcakes. I'm sorry, but to an average tech, I'm not really a PC tech guy, more home theater. But when I walk by and I see a game and it's got high graphic fidelity or something on a TV, I'm going to want to buy that.
I mean, they're already in the wild at Microsoft stores, so they are going to pump those up.
Agreed. Did Z go feed the dogs or something?
I don't know, but did you see what happened with Super Lucky Tail or whatever that game is on the Scorpio?
4K
4K 60. So someone was complaining like, well, look at the game. Of course it's going to be 4K 60. So I think they replied with, well, look at Crash Bandicoot. That looks like it could be 60, but it isn't.
That's true.
It was running unoptimized too at 4K 60.
4K 60, Crash Bandicoot's 1440 30.
Yeah, exactly. That was a joke. It can't even run 60.
Yep. Well, hey, man. Like I said, it is what it is. But it's already going on 10:20. Is there anything we want to add before we get the hell out of here? Shout out to everybody from joining this great show tonight. Great conversation, man, as always, man.
Hit that like button, guys.
I put a video up earlier or last week on the week.
Michael, shameless plug. And what you got going on?
about 4K 60 frames per second or 60 frames per second option and what the Destiny developers are doing, Bungie. And I have a little rant, so you guys can check out that video in preparation for El Mega's loss this Thursday.
Oh man,
El Megatron and Lee.
Tune in for that. It's gonna be a legendary
I will be there, bro, and I'm telling you right now, I'm in full instigation mode, bro.
It will be a finishing moment,
and all day we'll be there, bro. You know how all day
you know what we're gonna do, man. You're gonna be sitting there huddled up in a corner. What? Stop hitting on me, guys. I'm trying to chill out, man.
What?
The thing about it is that I'm trying to make sense of all this.
But anyway, listen, we got 300 people today. We appreciate it rocking out with us live. Like I said, the show is normally on Mondays. Like I said, BGSC got put back. So next Monday at 8 o'clock, we'll be on time. We're running on Black Man's time today. 8 o'clock next Monday. During the week, tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Tomorrow's Wednesday. We may bring you, like I said, a broadband ability. We do that around 10 p.m. late night, but we also, like I said, we got the live stream popping. Probably gonna hop back on the live stream now. Thank you for rocking out. Shout out to everybody that donated to the live stream. It really helps the platform grow. Helps with the giveaways. Actually, I got some codes too. I got them on my man. Shout out to my man Post Up, man. Listen, if you like what my man Post Up was speaking today, man, spitting today, tell him to get his channel up and popping. My man Post Up, very, very knowledgeable, man. Very, very knowledgeable. Tell him to get his channel up and running, man. But also to my man here, King, my little bro, King's Blood Gaming, Garrett, real cool dude, man. You know what I mean? He do nails for a living, but he alright though. You know what I mean?
Little shop of horror.
Back at the Chinese shop.
My boy,
Shout out to my man Fonzarelli for joining. Everybody send me the link to your channel. I'll leave it in the first comment, and you guys should check them out. Xbox PS5. You enjoyed the show today? Hit the thumbs up. We appreciate it. Listen, it means the world to us, man. And going for it, it is what it is, man. If you like the show, let me know. If you don't like the show, if you think D should change his name to Lee for them L's he be taking, they killed you with that when they said Lee versus El Mega.
Hey, I swear,
I'm the one that started that one.
El Mega need to share his alphabet soup full of L's with D.
Nah, man, D's making a comeback.
It's controlled in the shape of an L.
Right.
technically, I only took one L with those CUDA cores. Technically,
yeah, only one. But hey, you killed K-Mega, man.
$3.99.
Yeah.
We all took the L.
Yeah, we all took out that $3.99.
$4.99.
I'm gonna tell you, man. The Switch is gonna be doing 4K. I'm telling you.
256 CUDA cores, man.
Shout out my man L the Ace, man. Hit me up. That's all. I'm always online. Come rock out. Shout out my man Mike Ortiz. Delia HD. What's going on, baby girl? She back speaking to me, and me and Delia was beefing. Shout out to her. Shout out to everybody in the chat. My man Beaks Game in life. Shout out to him, man. Yo, my man Lethal Papa. Shout out to all you guys in the live stream. Appreciate it. It means the world to me, to us, and for rocking out with us, man. But look out, broadband bullies. We about to make it happen. My man Double M. What up, baby? We out of here, man. Hit the like button.
That like button, man.
Hit the like button.